Hey, this is Matt once again with about 10 videos of the paid request, this time for Oliver. And if you hear a background noise, yes, I do have company. One of my cats is in there. She wanted in, so she's excited about this review as well. But thank you, Oliver, for the request. I really appreciate it. And for those interested in requesting type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App and a Patreon because people have asked about those. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to them as soon as I can. It could be for a movie topic, review, commentary, re-review, video game playthrough for an hour or full playthrough, tier list, ranking, whatever the case. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is a Terminator fan film called Skynet, which is only 12 minutes long, which it's so nice because the last fan film I saw was the Crow one, 2022, and that was an hour and a half. So a fan film is only 12 minutes long? Happy day. It's directed by a guy named Chris, and pretty much the idea was he did not like the Terminator films after T2, which I'm like, yeah, that's most of us. And he wanted to have a final end to that story. So I guess this is he was going to do this, but then the pandemic happened. I think they did this right after the pandemic. They shot a few scenes at this abandoned zoo in Griffith Park, and pretty much they got Michael Edwards. Now, for those who don't know, he is the guy in Terminator 2 Judgment Day who played the older John Connor. At the beginning of the film, when you see the future war, you have the older gentleman with the binoculars, and you see him, but we never hear his voice. We never hear his voice, we never hear him talk. So he does this, and then he's got the star, and then it goes to the fire, and then we're back into the present time. So he is the star of this. And really, it's 12 minutes long. It's pretty much, I say a fan film, but it's like two scenes. It's really just two scenes. It's two people talking in one location, and then little bits are put in between of this event that will happen later on, where this person goes to someone's door at this house and some things happen, which I'll get to. So it's very simple, very rudimentary compared to other fan films. There's not a whole lot in terms of backdrop, in terms of effects, in terms of there's no action. There's really nothing of that. It's more of a little addendum story where I guess humanity has lost. John Connor is the last. He's beaten down, he's tired, he sits somewhere, and Skynet is in the shape of a woman. I just kind of like Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Well, I mean, that was a Terminator as a woman, even TX as an evil Terminator, and the Sarah Connor Chronicles as a good Terminator, so it's not the first time it's been a woman. And wasn't the voice of Skynet a woman in Salvation? I can't remember, but here it's a woman. And pretty much Skynet is telling John Connor that she or it was wrong. And I know that now. And about how her programming was to protect, and then secondary was self-preservation. And then she'll go like, we've been at war for 55 years, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I haven't noticed. I did notice there's a point he's like, I don't know if he specifically said, good for you, but it's almost as if he wanted to do a little bit of that Christian Bale Salvation, the rant behind the scenes. I don't know if that was the intention, but pretty much Skynet and John Connor have this conversation about John Connor remembers this place because his mom, Sarah, took him there. and that's where she told him about Judgment Day, and he would pray every night that it would not happen. And then Skynet realized that, this was the wrong call, it was the bad choice, it was a bad idea. I mean, granted, it would have been nice to know ultimately more of what made Skynet reach that idea, reach that programming, because, when you kill a billion people, you don't think that idea, but now that there's one person left, like, they go into a little bit, but I wish to have gone further and said, well, what really brought this on of you realizing the error of your ways? But she talks about how the cycle must be broken and will prevent Judgment Day. So apparently, during Terminator 2, someone else had a backup file. So she's going to go back and kill that person, get rid of that file, and then Judgment Day won't happen. And you need to order me to do it. Now, granted, you're thinking, well, you're able to do all this stuff on your own with your own programming. You don't really need John Connor to order you because, again, you've been destroying humanity under your thesis of self-preservation, and you weren't ordered. I mean, that was one of your orders, same with protect, but you're able to do that on your own. So you're able to do the self-preservation on your own, but not the, I need to go back in time and you need to tell me. So self-preservation you do on your own, but to protect you guys, I need to be ordered. And he does. He orders her to go. John dies. She goes back in time, kills, and then I guess that future ceases to be, and now Judgment Day is stopped. So, I mean, I like seeing Michael Edwards in there because he's always a guy I was curious about with Terminator 2 because he's the John Connor that is the least talked about in terms of, he didn't have a voice. So to hear what the guy sounds, and I wouldn't say the acting is stellar, but it was decent. It was decent. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was decent. Wasn't too bad. The music, I like the music used, whether it be themes of the more romantic angles of Terminator. If maybe that's the wrong term. The emotional notes of Terminator music. Even Hurt by Johnny Cash. Not the lyrics, but the instrumental part. That was nice because I like that song. I like the idea of Skynet kind of realizing that it was at fault and wanting to fix its own mistake. I do like that idea. So yeah, it's a fan film. Again, wrote two scenes that as a fan wanting to have an ending to. I'm like, well, there is an ending. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. You just don't make any more movies. There you go. Or you have that ending in Linda Hamilton, the bad makeup, where the future happens and she's old and she has everything's fine and dandy. There you go. So you just do that as well. Just put that ending on your fan version of the movie, and there you go. So, and yes, of course, there's the whole paradox thing, but I guess the idea is that Skynet will live just like, what was that? What was it? Dark Fate or Genesis? Genesis, where the Terminator went back and then killed Sarah's parents, and like Skynet was no more, but it was then or was it Dark Fate I'm thinking of? Man, whatever one where someone goes back and then things are changed, but then that Terminator's still there, so it's like that Terminator lives on, but his timeline's been deleted. Whatever the hell the case, the paradox is always confusing to look into. So it is some interesting ideas, although I wouldn't say I was 100% gung-ho on everything. I thought, well, doesn't that also kind of devalue John Connor, where humanity lost and it was up to Skynet itself to fix everything at the end? So John Connor leading the resistance, leading the freedom fighters, how you want to put them, fighting the forces. Everybody lost, humanity's dead, and thankfully Skynet just had a change of heart, if you want to say, and said, I will fix everything. I mean, doesn't that kind of devalue John Connor, where, well, anybody could have led the resistance and lost? Now, to be fair, I did ask that, and the director, I mean, he was nice. He responded under his fan film. He's like, well, it's not true. He said, Terminator 3 and onward made John Connor pointless. I'm like, I'm not a fan of those movies either. Although I don't mind Salvation. Like, I don't like Terminator 3 or Dark Fate or Genesis either. So. Skynet going back in time allows for T2 to be the definitive ending of the story, thus making John's actions meaningful and lasting. He and Sarah destroyed the chip, and Judgment Day is definitely avoided. My short allows John Connor to remain important because it proves how he and Skynet are linked in a never-ending cycle that only they can break. It's just that Skynet knew there was one last piece of the puzzle that John didn't. The backup files that created the crappy sequels. Skynet destroying those files at the behest of John is the same as the T-800 being reprogrammed. Skynet would not have gone back had John not told it to do so. Well, I don't know about that, because it destroyed humanity without being told. I mean, self-preservation doesn't mean destroying humanity. So if it could be twisting those around, protect humanity could be the same as, I'm going to go back in time and kill this guy to protect humanity. So if she can twist those things for that, she could twist those things for this too, right? So that's what I mean by, again, if she could twist the protocol of self-preservation, where I'm going to save myself, yeah, I'm going to kill everybody, to protect people, I could twist it where I go back in time, kill this motherfucker, and then... So she didn't really need John to tell her, but, you know. Yes, it is Skynet who realizes the error of its ways, but it was only decades after both sides destroyed each other beyond repair. Like I said, maybe they did a bit more of a thought process in Skynet and what made her realize this way, at least a little bit more. But, I mean, there were interesting ideas. The two actors I don't think were bad. I liked the music used during the short. There's some intriguing ideas. More intriguing ideas than I saw in T3, Genesis, and Dark Fate. And you tell the person loves the films. It is a fan. I may not be 100% gung-ho on it, but I don't mind it. It was short. It was interesting. The performances were decent. The music used. It came from the right place. Its heart was on his sleeve. I could tell from the guy who made it. That goes a long way. And so overall, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind this little fan film. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Like I said, I didn't mind it. And of course, my cat, I guess he knows the review's over, so now he wants to leave. So I gotta let her out. Thanks for watching. Take care. And yeah, I didn't mind it for what it was. Pretty decent. So thanks, Oliver. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.